Man, does it feel good to get back in the win column. The Broncos dominate on Monday Night Football against a far inferior team in the Cincinnati Bengals without their star quarterback, Joe Burrow. 28-3. Welcome in, Broncos country, to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and on today's episode, in this instant reaction, I'm going to tell you everything that I saw from the Denver Broncos in Week 4 in Monday Night Football. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't perfect. There's a lot that needs to be cleaned up. But this, by far, was the best overall game the Broncos have played all season long. That includes Game 1 against the Tennessee Titans. I thought the quarterback, Bo Nix, was excellent. We'll touch on him. I thought the MVP of the game was J.K. Dobbins. We'll touch on him. This running attack between J.K. Dobbins and RJ Harvey is going to feed families. And, of course, Cortland Sutton was great as well. We're going to touch on everything. But if you want wall-to-wall coverage, the wins, the losses, the news, the rumors, everything in between, the watch parties like we just concluded with, hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 42,000 subscribers. We are this freaking close, man. If you want the very best surrounding your favorite team, hit that sub button right now. What are the takeaways from this Denver Broncos win over the Cincinnati Bengals? J.K. Dobbins is so good. Here's a stat I bet you didn't know. J.K. Dobbins is the very first Broncos running back to hit over 100 yards rushing in 38 games. 17 games a season. That's 2 1/4 seasons. He is a stud, man. I can't tell you how amazing his performance was tonight. His field vision, his patience, his ability to find an open hole, exploit it with burst, to bounce out to the outside, to truck north to south, is unmatched from any other Broncos running back that we've had in recent years. There's a reason you went out and signed him. He is that good. When he's healthy, this dude is a 1,000-yard back through and through. And you saw that tonight. Everything was on full display from J.K. Dobbins. He was tonight's MVP. He is the Broncos' rushing attack right now. And that doesn't mean that RJ Harvey isn't. He's just not there yet. And I said earlier that he had over 80 yards rushing. I was wrong. He had only 58. So I was incorrect about that stat. Very incorrect about that stat. But I will say this. I saw a lot of really good stuff from this kid. He's going to be a special, special player. A special player indeed. Hats off to RJ Harvey and to J.K. Dobbins. This rushing attack was outstanding. But I also have to give credit to Bo Nix, who played his best performance of the entire 2025 season. If it wasn't for one bad throw in the end zone and a couple of drops from your wide receivers and your tight ends, Bo Nix would have played almost a flawless game. And this Broncos team, if dominant wasn't the right word, I don't know what else is. Total yards, 512 to 159. First downs, tripled them. Better on third. Penalties, we'll talk about it. Still not great. Possession time, I mean, what else is there to say? This team without Joe Burrow for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, they don't belong on the same field as the Denver Broncos. It wasn't even close. I told you at the beginning of the game, I told you last week, this team doesn't have the juice without their best player. Oh, well, you got to play the teams that are on your schedule. You got to play the players that are coming out to play. I hate the excuse. Oh, you beat this team because they didn't have X. Or you beat this team because their defense is X. The offensive line is the same. The offensive weapons are the same. The defense was the same. The only difference was you weren't playing Joe Burrow. So hats off to Denver Broncos. The defense is still the best in the league. They made Jake Browning his life a living hell. They couldn't hear any plays in the headset. They had to bounce outside all day long to try and get any throws off. This defense is insane. We're going to talk about that last takeaway here in just a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the defense. I want to talk a little bit about the offensive line. And, of course, what is going on with Evan Ingram. We'll talk about all of that here in just a little bit. But first, got to tell you about my friends from Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get money on real sports action all season long. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the exact same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you want more on the Josh Allen's passing yards, rushing yards, touchdowns, you can have all of it with stacks on Prize Picks. Follow other Prize Picks players directly in the app. Copy their lineups in one easy click. My lineup didn't hit. Will Lutz didn't make any field goals tonight. But you know what? I'm okay with that. Broncos won. I got the more on the Jalen Hurts max discount, more on the Cortland Sutton. Yours can look like this, but it can also look very different. Just download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. This pass rush is incredible. We knew that. They might not have done a ton in the sack department tonight. I think they only had 3. If I'm being completely honest with you, I'd have to go and double check the math. I'm doing this all free balling right now, by the way, so you have to just give me some credit for that. But they made Browning's life a living hell. And one of my keys to victory was blitz, blitz, blitz a little bit more. Benito was excellent. John Franklin Myers was excellent. And shout out to Alex Singleton for being an absolute monster on the field. 11 tackles, 1 quarterback hit, blitzing all night, all smiles, all game long. He played his best game of the season, and it wasn't close. Thank you for stepping up in the absence of Dre Greenlaw. It was a sensational performance. Jonathan Cooper, the Robin to Nick Benito's Batman, he was also outstanding. 2 quarterback hits, half a sack with Nick Benito, and then, of course, 2 tackles as well. I thought Brandon Jones played great. Talanoa Hufanga was a little bit more quiet. Let's talk about Riley Moss very briefly. He was targeted early and often, and at the beginning of the game, he did not start off hot at all, but as the game went on, he was sensational. Really clamped it up. So the entire full round of applause to the Denver Broncos defense. They were great, as they should have been. They held Jamar Chase to 5 receptions for 23 yards. Tip of the cap to the DPOY, Pat Surtain. Mitchell Tinsley, T. Higgins. Doesn't matter who the weapon was for the Cincinnati Bengals. They weren't good enough. Period. That team wasn't good enough. Now let's talk briefly about why it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This team still has a penalty problem. 7 tonight against the Bengals, who had 11. It's still very undisciplined. It's still very undisciplined. The Broncos now have 290 yards of penalties against them in 4 weeks. I mean, it's awful. Sean Payton's got to figure something out because Luke Wattenberg was the worst player on the field tonight. Penalty after penalty. He had back-to-back penalties. I'm pretty sure he had 4 tonight. It was awful. Awful, awful. McGlinchey wasn't great. I mean, Garrett Bowles was awesome. Quinn Miners is sensational, and Ben Powers played well too. Those 2, though, got to get it together, especially Luke Wattenberg. You cannot do that against the Philadelphia Eagles. You will get shit on. Sorry if I'm being, what's the word, crass? It's the truth. You play like that against Philadelphia Eagles, you're going to get stomped on, especially if you're having all the penalties like you did all game long. It's not good enough. But shout out to Bo Nix, who played out of his mind outside of a couple of throws. Marvin Mims was excellent tonight. Cortland Sutton was excellent tonight. The offense finally showed what it's capable of. I don't care that it was against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. That's what you're supposed to do. Mims, sensational. Sutton, sensational. Dobbins, Harvey, Bo, all great. Not this guy. 2 drops tonight for Troy Franklin. Got to be better. And the second worst player on the field tonight, I don't know what's going on with Evan Ingram. I don't know if it's the injury. I don't know if it's the scheme. I don't know what it is. But he dropped the ball, didn't understand his spacing. I mean, he just looks like a non-factor out on the field. And that's a shame because you paid a ton of money for him. 2-year contract. Like, you got to play better, brother. I understand that you've been injured. I understand the injury might be affecting you. If you're healthy enough to play on the field, I expect you to give me better production. So I can't give everything, the full scope, an A for the Broncos. I can give it a B+. Because it was very, very good. It just wasn't great. Lots to clean up. But at the same time, the Broncos won. We should be happy about that. And we are going to be happy about that. We're going to celebrate the next 24 hours, and then it's on to the Eagles. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button if you haven't already. And as always, Broncos country, be cool.